Good afternoon, everyone. I'm delighted to be here with you today to celebrate the graduation of the class of 2021. It's a day for many things, a day to celebrate the incredible accomplishments that our students have made, be they in the laboratory, on the wards, in the clinic rooms, or in our operating rooms of our hospital, but also in the larger community, where they've served vulnerable populations through their generosity and passion. It's also a day for thanks. Thanks to the people that have supported you along the way, your family, friends, past teachers, and present faculty and mentors. But it's also a chance for us as faculty to thank you. One, for entrusting us with your medical education, and two, for assisting us in the discovery of new knowledge and in the provision of outstanding and, just as importantly, compassionate care to our patients. It's also a time for reflection. You are beginning your careers in medicine as I am ending mine in the next couple of days. I hope that you will find the same depth of joy and fulfillment that I always have in medicine. It's also important to reflect on what a commitment to medicine means. When you are in the role of a physician, as the care provider, you have to be 100% there. But you can't be in that role 100% of the time. In order to care for your patients in the way that they deserve and you want to, you have to commit to taking care of yourself, those you love, and your fellow colleagues in medicine. It's been an honor to witness what you've achieved here, and I wish you the very best in the future, a future I'm confident holds even greater things in the years to come. It's wonderful to welcome you as colleagues. Thank you very much. And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce the medical student speaker today, Neil Koyawala. Neil?
Hey Med21, we're here, we did it, and what a journey it has been. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your special graduation day. It doesn't feel like long ago we were at our first day of orientation in Turner Auditorium, and Dean Koenig asked us, "Any questions?" This is your chance to forever be known as the first person to ask a question in your medical school class. Afterwards, one student's hand immediately shot up. "Oh, I just wanted to be known," he said. And so our class group me was named Med21. I just want to be known. We were known for our rigorous dissections in anatomy, our ability to ace multiple choice tests, and our courage during our elevator party. We were known for our musical talent during our Second Look weekend video, our college's Olympics performances, and the many amazing Cassie and the Brewery concerts. We were known for our commitment to cutting-edge research and our persistence to become less awkward in our Clinical Foundations of Medicine course. And then we entered clerkships and learned what it was like not to be known. We quickly realized that this environment is not about us, but instead about the privilege of getting to help people and families on some of the worst days of their lives. Today, as we receive our MDs, we have the opportunity to not only reflect on what it means to be doctors in the hospital, but also ask, what does it mean to be humans in the hospital and doctors outside the hospital? As I reflect, I remember a quote from Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie that goes, "The single story creates stereotypes, and the problem with stereotypes is not that they are untrue, but that they are incomplete. They make one story become the only story." Take our rotations, for example. It's like if we said a surgery rotation is about eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches when you're lucky, and standing for 8 hours as you eagerly retract and gear up for another 4 a.m. start. Or that women's health is about getting those shoe covers on fast enough and gracefully holding out your hands in time to catch the football that is a human baby. Or that pediatrics is about the miracle of performing an ear exam with a squirming and screaming 2-year-old child in a parent's lap. Or, I should be careful here, some may say internal medicine is about standing on rounds for 6 hours while at the 7th hour a faculty member walking by spots a fascinating EKG and pulls out their calipers for group discussion. And the list goes on. But fortunately, as a class, we all have had over 120 different stories of medical school that can only begin to capture what an adventure and privilege it is to be a medical student. Going forward, through our actions, we will have the opportunity to contribute to the stories that help define what it means to be a doctor. Being human inside the hospital means we don't become desensitized to human suffering. It means we open up our hearts and minds to fully listen to someone in their moments of vulnerability before contextualizing that information into the years of knowledge and training we have received. It means we don't let one story of COPD exacerbation or one opioid overdose define all of our future encounters. We are in a unique position in our training to feel uncomfortable by some of the norms in the hospital. In these moments, it is critical we resist the temptation to immediately conform and instead reflect on why we are feeling uncomfortable and whether it's because we are going against the much longer lived experience of being a human before we entered the field of medicine. With our compassionate listening, we have the opportunity to start breaking the pattern of discrimination and judgment in the hospital that many patients face in all sectors of their lives. And not all of our influence as doctors will come from our advanced medical knowledge. When we leave the hospital, we are doctors in our community. This could simply mean being a point person for advice on health in your family. It could also mean translating the stories patients share with us into systemic advocacy for broader improvements in our community's health. During the COVID pandemic, we have seen how some communities have suffered much more than others in the United States, and how the distribution of oxygen and ventilators have varied so much globally. With the growing number of tragedies around us, like racial injustice, disparities in access to care, and gun violence, and the intersection of health and well-being with these tragedies, it is so important for us to extend our empathy, healing, and advocacy beyond the hospital walls. And after training in a pandemic, I could not think of a more equipped and thoughtful class to do this. So to our villages, I would like to express on behalf of our class our sincerest gratitude to everyone who has invested in us to become better humans and better doctors, both inside and outside of the healthcare setting, including our wonderful faculty, parents, family, friends, and patients. I will forever treasure our shared experience as a member of the Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine, class of 2021. I am so proud and excited for all of our stories that will soon help refine what it means to be a physician. I hope we will be known for our compassion first. Congrats again, Med21.
Hello. Each year it is my privilege to address our graduating master's and PhD students. Today we celebrate a collection of scholars from a wide range of scientific fields: medical historians who research past pandemics, cell biologists working to cure cancer, and engineers who create medical devices. Despite this variety, all students will recite the graduate student oath, in which they pledge to uphold a number of important commitments and practices during their career. I would like to draw the students' attention to one in particular. You will pledge to be an ambassador of science to the public and strive to be honest, respectful, and unbiased when engaging the public. Indeed, during the past year, each of you has likely served in this capacity as your family and friends' source for medical and vaccine information. I draw your attention to this specific pledge today because in times like these, we are acutely aware of the importance of science and the public's shared understanding of scientific truth. My charge to you, our graduating students, is to embrace your responsibility to educate the public throughout your career. To close, I simply want to say thank you to our students. Thank you for all that you've done while at Hopkins, but more than that, thank you for all that you will do for science, medical discovery, and society going forward. It has been an honor and a pleasure to be your colleague during your time at Hopkins, and we will stay connected in the future. On behalf of your teachers, mentors, family, and friends, we celebrate you and are proud of all that you've accomplished. From all of us, congratulations to the graduating class of 2021. Each year, the graduating master's and PhD students select a speaker to represent them at convocation. It is now my pleasure to introduce this year's graduate student speaker, Monica Looney. Monica joined our pathobiology PhD program in 2016 after receiving degrees in psychology and microbiology from the University of Maryland. She conducted her thesis research with Dr. Petros Karakoussis, where she investigated the regulation of small RNAs in infections by Mycobacterium tuberculosis and SARS-CoV-2. Outside of the lab, Monica volunteers for the Don Amolo Memorial Kids Ark and frequently traveled to Kenya to assist them with coordinating free medical camps for children affected by HIV. After graduation, Monica will begin a postdoctoral fellowship at the Johns Hopkins Center for Tuberculosis Research, where she will continue her work on TB and SARS-CoV-2, while also transitioning into a Master's of Public Health program at the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. I'm pleased to present Monica Looney.
Fellow graduates, we come to this, the end of a brilliant journey, a journey undoubtedly unique for each of us, and one that bonds us all through the shared experience of the highest highs and the lowest lows that have accompanied us along our way. But today we arrive together, victorious, with a collective pride that shouts, "We did it." We have made it to the end, and it is an end that will serve as a foundation for infinite new beginnings. Completion of a graduate degree is an immense challenge. Surely, when we entered our programs, we all must have anticipated that we would have been faced with obstacles that would test our resilience and our resolve. But I would guess that not one of us foresaw the countless, unimaginable, and profound circumstances hurled upon us last year at the beginning of 2020. We have faced severe isolation, loss, and complete disruption of routine, and we have felt that heavy burden. And yet, each and every graduate here today was able to adapt, endure, and emerge a 2020 tested champion of science and of life. If this last year and a half has taught us anything, it is that every one of us has a role to play in the fight for a better world, with less disease and less suffering. This historic time has shone light on the deep-seated injustice that stands in the way, has reminded us that privilege can mean the difference between life and death, and that it is in our hands to create a more equitable, more just world. If this experience has taught us anything, it is that science, medicine, and public health are essential, and that change and progress come only when we work together. Each of us is one of many who drive forward the solutions that save lives and change history. We cannot do it alone. Amongst us today, there may be future professors, healthcare providers, CEOs, Nobel laureates, writers, politicians, and some who may choose to leave science for something else entirely. But as we prepare for our next steps, I think it's worth saying to my peers, whom I have watched with admiration as they worked towards this day, what you've done here mattered. Whatever you go on to do next will matter too. What you have accomplished is no easy feat. Everything in our paths we have overcome. Countless hours of studying, late nights toiling away in the lab or reading articles and case reports, failed experiment upon failed experiment upon failed experiment, and in spite of it all, we persevered, and hopefully found at least a few moments to appreciate the victories, like the first moment you realize you finally have data, the first official publication of your graduate school career, completion of exams, and the realization that you will never have to take another class final again, unless you choose to. A successful thesis defense, even a virtual one, and yes, mastering the art of being professionally dressed only from the waist up while maintaining optimal sweatpant-clad comfort on the lower half for the 100th Zoom meeting attended from your bedroom. And of course, graduation day, when the work is done and the only thing left to do is enjoy, feel proud of all the things you have accomplished during your time at Hopkins, and look forward to embarking on the beginning of the rest of our lives, wherever they may take us. So we come to this, the end and the beginning, perhaps bruised, but never broken, perhaps exhausted, but ready for the next adventure, certainly challenged, but triumphant. We, the 2021 graduates of the Johns Hopkins School of Medicine, are without question a force to be reckoned with, because not even a global pandemic could stop us. Now let's go show the world why. Congratulations to you all.